Monday Night Raw proves something the WWE never wants to say out loud. The moment Dominik Mysterio is no longer directly deriving the women's stories, the crowd dies. You would think Liv Morgan launching a vicious attack on Stephanie Vaquer would wake the crowd up, and it didn't. The crowd stayed silent. That's not on Liv, that's not even on Stephanie. That's on how dependent Raw has become on Dom to move the energy, heat, and momentum. And the most interesting part? Dom finally showed hints of becoming his AAA self, while the rest of Raw felt completely lifeless. Let's start off with the Liv Morgan promo. Liv comes out with Dom. Immediately, something feels off. Liv looks sad, and Dom looks bored. Dom introduces himself first as the double champion before introducing Liv as a World Rumble winner. That's new. That matters. That's AAA Dom peeking through. He brings out Stephanie Vaquer and Jade Cargill. Liv says she has something she wants to say first. She says to Stephanie that she was right, that she didn't understand what Stephanie went through. And she goes on for a little bit, and the crowd starts booing her. Then Liv stares down Jade, seemingly making her decision before she spins and cracks Stephanie with the mic. She beats her down, hits her with the code breaker, hits her with the Oblivion. Dom hands her the title, and Liv poses with it. Liv throws the title back down on Stephanie, and they leave. And the crowd, dead silent. They didn't react at all. They tried to do the fake sympathy bit with Liv, but it doesn't land because Stephanie was called a puta by Liv 2 weeks ago. So now all of a sudden the crowd is supposed to have this sympathy for Liv just because she quote unquote made Liv cry. And even now, when they had their own promo where they translated Stephanie's words again, they still did not translate Dom's words. He was the one saying that you should be embarrassed. That is nowhere in Stephanie's official WWE translation from that promo last week. So either Liv was sad about Dom saying it, where she kind of intimated in some interviews, or they were trying to fake it with some sympathy, but it still doesn't land. It's like they're trying to play two different stories here. Either Dom made her sad, which he did because he said something that Stephanie did not say, or they were trying to go for a fake sympathy spot, and it just didn't work. And the heat wasn't even confusing heat. It was just not there. Like, immediately, Dom stepped out of the picture when Liv was attacking Stephanie. Like, he had no part of it. He was just in the corner. He was doing his own thing. The crowd wasn't having it. And that's what happened. It died. This is why they relied too heavily on Dom for this stuff. If Dom was directly in this altercation, like Dom was getting hit, Dom was getting slapped, Dom was just getting anything from either Stephanie or Liv, the crowd would have woke up. And they were probably expecting Dom to do something. And he didn't. And he didn't need to do anything because this is not his feud. But like I said, as soon as he wasn't involved, it died. Hard. This feud between Liv and Stephanie is going to be dry as fuck unless something else is injected into it, namely a Raquel Rodriguez. We have 50 days until WrestleMania, and as it stands right now, this match is not WrestleMania worthy. Not. I cannot see this match being in the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. Not as it stands. Because we got to stretch this 50 days into WrestleMania. 50. If Dom is exited from this feud, which he should, what else are they going to do? They've already had Liv attack Stephanie twice. So what is it now? It's going to be what? Stephanie's going to be attacking Liv now? And then they got to keep running that back and forth? They almost need to have Raquel just interject herself into this feud as it is. But I say all this to say this. Dom was not needed for this segment. Did he translate for Stephanie? No, thankfully. But he wasn't there. He wasn't there doing anything for the storyline. He wasn't translating for Liv. All he did was introduce Liv, Stephanie, and Jade. And poor Jade, you just pull pulled Jade out there just to say nothing, and Stephanie to say nothing. Like, how could you treat both of your women's champions like that, where they couldn't say anything? At least let Jade say something. At least let Stephanie say something. They didn't even say nothing. It was just Liv. And even that little bit wasn't all that great. That promo was not hitting for Liv. I'm sorry. This is not me being a hater. It didn't land. It didn't make sense. She could have had that promo against Stephanie on her own, and it probably would have landed better. If she actually went back kayfabe-wise and really reached in her bag and talked about her history, that probably would have landed better. But what she said tonight didn't. And we saw the effects of it. The crowd didn't care. And so, next up, we have the Judgment Day clubhouse scene. And now we have Liv and Dom on the couch. Raquel is nearby in new gear, which looks amazing. And she is trying and failing to look excited. The camera pans to JD McDonagh and Finn Balor. Finn Balor is looking spiffy in his suit. JD apologizes for being a hothead last week. Finn accepts it, says they're family. And then Finn says something important. He says that he needs to face CM Punk on his own. And Dom then cuts in. He says because Finn and JD didn't have his back, he lost last week, and now he has to deal with Penta next week for the Intercontinental title. JD apologizes and promises he will be there for Dom next week. Finn says that he's focused on the biggest match of his career. He reminds Dom that when Dom and JD were hurt, nobody was watching Finn's back, and he handled it. Finn now drops this line. He tells Dom it's time to take responsibility. It's time to grow up. And here's the uncomfortable truth. I'm ride or die for Dom. Y'all know me. But Finn has a point. Dom does complain when things go sideways. When he loses the title, he complains. If he loses a match, complain. He does that. He's done that all the way back when he was with Rhea. Rightly or wrongly. The difference is that Finn gets to say that after 10 years of what ifs, he's allowed to be in contention for a title. He has this main event chance. He has a chance for a title. Dom hasn't been allowed to be selfish just yet. After Finn does his spiel to Dom, Finn leaves, and then JD tells Dom he'll talk to him. And now, for the first time in forever, we now have Dom with some forward momentum, and we do see hints of a Finn and Dom feud on the horizon. If y'all peeped in the clubhouse, we saw Finn Balor beating CM Punk on a 2K25 screen. We do see where JD is in the middle here a little bit, but he's leaning towards Dom because he's still being supportive of Dom. Dom is still being his heelish self. I know people keep wanting to say, it's going to be Finn staying heel and, Liv and Dom will get kicked out. No, that man is staying heel. Finn is the one presenting face. He's saying that he wants to face CM Punk on his own. This is similar to Damian, which is what Damian used to do when Finn was trying to help him when Damian had the title. Damian wanted to do things on his own. He wanted to be the champion on his own. He didn't want Judgment Day. Even though he didn't really say it. At least Finn is saying it now to JD and Dom. Damian didn't do that to Finn. So when Finn was trying to help, Damian would get all butthurt about it say he wanted to win on his own, but he never did say that directly to Finn. At least now we have clear words from Finn saying, "Hey, I want to do this on my own," and that is better than we were getting with Damian. Damian was just a huge hypocrite. He would win because of Finn and JD and Dom helping him out. But here, Finn is just saying, hey, I want to win this on my own. He's not asking for help or he's not losing and then he gets upset, kind of like how Raquel did when he lost. He's doing it on his own. And that's pretty much face behavior. I do expect JD to align more with Dom here because JD he was hot and bothered last week. And I really don't like how JD's momentum got halted. This is just 2 steps forward, 10 steps back with Judgment Day's story because JD's momentum halted. He was hot and bothered last week, and it was good. Like, he wanted to do something. He was upset with Finn. You know, he was thinking, like, Finn might be a coward. And then it just stops and reverts itself, and, like, with JD apologizing when he really didn't need it. He needed to keep going with this momentum of just being hot and bothered. Maybe he starts something. But we should be used to this by now with Judgment Day's story. And next up, we have Finn Balor's promo. He has a nice, slick, video package here. Finn says that he knows people are mad at him, but he needs them to understand that this isn't about him. He says that he has to prove something to the doubters, to the critics, and even Judgment Day. He talks about 10 years of what if he was champion. He said when he lost in Belfast, he stopped asking what if and started asking when he beats CM Punk, when he becomes the world heavyweight champion, and when there are no more excuses. He says that when that happens, everyone will know who the real best in the world is, and that was that. The promo pretty much did what it needed to do. It's another face-leaning promo. It's still not a turn for the demented demon known as Finn Balor, but it's face-leaning, and it's getting Finn there. And the promo does what it needed to do ahead of the Elimination Chamber. And next up, we have the elimination qualifier for the women, which was Raquel Rodriguez versus Io Sky versus Kairi Sane. And big sexy Raquel wins after hitting the Tejano bomb on Kairi Sane. Raquel looked great. I love her gear. Like, her gear choices recently have been banging, and I just love her. I like her whole look. She's been looking great. Her power spots landed, and she was all over the place and what she needed to do. The match was good. The crowd was still kind of dead, but I think they just were taken out because Bronson Reed got hurt earlier in the night, and I don't think they ever recovered from that. And what they saw earlier prior to this match didn't help matters either. With the win, Raquel finally has much needed momentum. She had been doing nothing for these past couple of weeks. She's just been around Liv, not really saying nothing, just looking sad and having looks, but now she has a win. It's unclear if she wins the Elimination Chamber. Now, I do know that the WWE said that this Elimination Chamber is for Jade's title since Liv chose Stephanie. However, the WWE can change its mind and change the rules. Raquel could totally force herself into Liv's match if they wanted to go that way. And I'm saying this because Jade's been staring down Charlotte Flair. And Charlotte Flair is not even in the Elimination Chamber this year. Rhea's in there, but I'm not even sure Rhea's going to win this. And hopefully not. We don't get Tiffany again. Like, I hope they don't run that well again with Tiffany. Like, we don't need Tiffany. We saw that last year. Have her do something else. But it's a chance. I'm not saying that it's like an 80-20, but it's a chance that Raquel could win this. And I'm all for it because Raquel needs that momentum. She had lost. She lost her story. Everything was, everything was going down the drain for her. So I was just really happy that she got this win. So overall, this Raw proved again how much the WWE depends on Dominik Mysterio to move things along. The moment he steps back, even slightly from a storyline, everything just goes to shit. Dom does not need to be involved with Liv versus Stephanie anymore. Like, he does not need to be involved in this feud. Let the feud sink or swim on its own. If Stephanie needs somebody to talk, get somebody else. She knows enough English now to do a decent promo. Throw Raquel in there if you have to, and I think Raquel needs to be in it anyway, but leave Dom out of it. He needs his own storylines, he needs his own feuds, he needs to start setting things up with Finn if they're going that way, so he needs to exit the feud. Like, he did the heavy lifting. Let the feud of Liv and Stephanie sink or swim on its own. Dom now has forward momentum with Finn, and now we can actually see where a Dom and Finn feud can end up at WrestleMania. I am really happy that we are seeing hints of Dom's AAA self. Um, and that was just very little things. It was just him introducing himself first, because I was really it caught me off guard, because when he had the microphone, I thought he was just going to be introducing Liv, but he introduced himself, and then he was like, "And Liv is the greatest Royal Rumble member of all time." But like I said earlier, he was just looking really bored coming out there, and Liv was looking sad, and that might have been rude, but Dom himself was not looking like this happy boyfriend. If y'all looked at it, like, even if he were trying to sell a part of, like, supporting Liv, like, you can support Liv and then look a little bit more interested in supporting Liv. He wasn't even doing that. He was just not looking. He wasn't interested. He wasn't putting enough interest and effort into it at all. And hopefully now we'll have Dom and Finn kick off, and Dom will have his own feuds. Like, he's already got a match with Penta next week on Raw. So when that happens, hopefully we'll get to see what's going on with either Finn and JD, and probably Dom will retain there. Like, I'm gonna 80-20 that Dom is gonna retain, or something's gonna happen with some shenanigans where they can throw in Penta again and maybe a Javon Evans, because Javon pinned Dom last week. And unlike Liv and Stephanie, Finn and Dom have history and heat. Like, we can go back with a lot of history with Dom and Finn and Judgment Day, out of Judgment Day, and just the whole build for this last almost 2 years now. So we have build here. So it'll be easier to get some really nice story moments here if Triple H doesn't botch it, rather than Liv and Stephanie. And finally, it also feels that JD is going to be forced to choose a side soon, and whenever Roxanne pops back up, that tension is only going to grow. So in conclusion, Raw wasn't loud tonight, it wasn't chaotic, it was quiet. And that's what told the whole story. The WWE doesn't have a crowd problem, it has a dependency problem with the name of Dominik. And until Dominik Mysterio is allowed to fully step into his own story and not orbit someone else's, the show is going to keep feeling hollow.